Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really going to try and cut through the noise in cryptocurrency.
There's certainly a lot of it lately.
Exactly. We'll be exploring its complex markets, the regulatory battleground, and honestly, some surprising political forces that are really at play now.
It's becoming much more political, yes.
And our mission, like always, is to give you that shortcut, to being truly well-informed. We've got a stack of sources here, headlines, excerpts from Crypto's Shifting Tides, from Political Power Plays to Market Swings 10, headlines you can't ignore.
It's stuff in there.
Yeah, the goal is you walk away understanding not just what's happening, but really why it matters so much.
Connecting those dots.
Precisely. So what could you expect? Well, we're going to dive into the latest market movements.
Always volatile.
Always. And explore this, well, geopolitical tug-of-war that's unfolding in the regulatory space. And then reveal some, frankly, significant political maneuvering. Strategic stuff from big crypto players.
They're definitely making moves.
It's complex, no doubt, but we're here to guide you through it.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the market's heartbeat. Looking at the recent figures, volatility is still the name of the game, but with some intriguing differences this time.
Oh.
Yeah, Bitcoin, often seen as the big indicator, it actually took a bit of a tumble, slid nearly 8% from its recent record high, which was around $124,000.
Wow, okay.
Settled around $113,643. So that's a significant move down. But, and this is interesting, contrast that with Ethereum.
Right.
Ethereum showed a different kind of resilience. It actually gained about 3% in just one day, trading around $4,289. This kind of divergence, that's not always typical, is it? What's it telling us?
No, it's not, and that's a great observation. While, a Bitcoin dip often spooks the whole market, Ethereum holding up like that, even gaining, it suggests a more nuanced story unfolding.
Nuanced how?
Well, this isn't just random noise. Experts are suggesting these particular moves, they signal maybe some cautious optimism, possibly pointing towards recovery or at least a differentiation.
So not just following Bitcoin blindly.
Exactly. It reflects the market's capacity to sort of differentiate between assets now. Maybe Bitcoin's slide was profit-taking after that huge rally.
Makes sense.
While Ethereum's climb could be fueled by things happening in its own ecosystem, anticipation around developments or its growing utility.
Okay, so individual factors matter more now.
They seem to. And these figures, these specific trends, they're really crucial indicators for you to understand the broader health, the direction of the whole digital asset landscape.
Right.
Helps you see if the market's just correcting or if there are deeper shifts happening. It gives you a much more detailed picture than just looking at the total market cap. It's dynamic, constantly recalibrating.
Okay, so market moves are one thing, but you mentioned regulation, and this is where it gets really interesting, I think. This clash over digital currency regulation. It feels like a true geopolitical tug-of-war.
It absolutely is. It goes way beyond just finance.
So explain the core conflict here. We've got these tech, giant-backed stablecoins.
Yeah, the private players.
Positioning themselves against central bank-issued digital currencies, the CBDCs.
The sovereign players. Two very different visions.
Totally different. One is largely private, driven by tech companies aiming for efficiency, global reach maybe.
Right, network effects.
And the other is sovereign, backed and controlled by governments.
Yeah, national control.
And the approaches across the globe couldn't be more different, it seems. The U.S. tends to talk up innovation, maybe a bit more hands-off initially.
Historically, yes. Let innovation flourish first, regulate later maybe.
Whereas Europe seems to be going the other way, ramping up much more restrictive frameworks like MiCA, the markets, and crypto assets regulation.
MiCA is huge, yeah. Comprehensive oversight from the get-go, especially for stablecoins.
It really highlights this fundamental philosophical difference, doesn't it? How regions balance innovation and control. But it feels like this goes deeper than just, writing rules for stablecoins. What are the bigger implications here?
Oh, absolutely. This is far more than just financial instruments. Forget that framing. This is, as you said, a geopolitical battle. It's about digital monetary supremacy. Regulation here isn't just about controlling risk. It's about global influence.
Wow. Okay. So paint that picture.
Well, imagine a future where, say, a tech giant's stablecoin becomes the global currency, effectively. Or, flip side, a nation's CBDC gives it unprecedented control over its citizens' finances and maybe lets it project economic power abroad in new ways.
high stakes.
Extremely high stakes. And these regulatory decisions, whether they lean towards innovation, like maybe the US, or restriction, like Europe with MiCA, they could directly impact the types of digital currencies you can access.
How so?
Well, how easily you can use them, how they interact with, your bank account, the traditional systems. If MiCA sets a strict global standard, it might limit the reach of some stablecoins.
Right, if others follow suit.
Exactly. But if the U.S. stays more open, maybe it becomes the hub for development. This isn't just abstract policy stuff. It hits your financial choices, your privacy potentially, the whole architecture of commerce down the line.
Okay, that really puts it into perspective. And these regulatory currents, they're clearly prompting some big moves from crypto players themselves. They're not just sitting back.
Not at all. They're actively engaging, making some very specific, very strategic moves on the political chessboard, you could say.
Trying to influence the game.
Definitely. They're not just waiting for the rules, they want to help write them.
Okay, give us an example. You mentioned Tether.
Right, Tether. Major stablecoin issuer, they just made a really significant hire. Bo Hines.
Bo Hines. Name rings a bell.
He was the former head of Trump's Crypto Advisory Council. Tether hired him as their U.S. strategy lead.
Okay, that sends a message.
A very clear message. It signals Tether's push to align with newly passed stablecoin regulations. There's something called the Genius Act mentioned. They're aiming to build a U.S.-compliant stablecoin.
So working within the system now, proactively.
Exactly. A clear step towards legitimacy within the U.S. financial system, trying to get ahead of the curve.
And it's not just Tether, right? The Winklevoss twins.
Yes, Tyler and Cameron.
Yep.
Well-known figures. They've jumped into political lobbying in a big way, too.
How big?
They've pledged, get this, $21 million
Wow. $21 million.
to create a new PAC, the Digital Freedom Fund PAC.
A political action committee. Okay, so direct election influence.
Direct influence. And its purpose is crystal clear. Support Republican candidates who favor crypto legislation, and importantly, candidates who specifically oppose CBDCs.
So boosting private crypto, pushing back against government digital currency.
Precisely. It's a direct attempt to shape the political landscape to favor their vision.
This level of direct political engagement, it's pretty striking, isn't it? For an industry often seen as, anti-establishment. Is this just evolution or something else?
That's a really insightful question because it really does highlight the increasing sophistication of crypto's political strategy. They're not just reacting anymore.
They're playing offense.
Absolutely. Actively trying to shape policy outcomes.
Yeah.
It's not just lobbying on a specific bill. It's about building long-term political alliances, funding campaigns. Hiring someone like Hines speaks to wanting insider knowledge, influence.
Makes sense.
And a $21 million PAC, that's a massive statement. It shows crypto's influence is now being wielded with the same tools as, Big Pharma or Big Oil. They're becoming a new, pretty formidable political bloc.
All right.
Now, it's really important we're clear here. We're just impartially reporting on this information from our sources. We're not endorsing any political views.
Absolutely. Just laying out the action.
Exactly. Our aim is just to show how these strategic political moves are unfolding.
Yeah.
And for you listening, it's important to understand that these actions could directly influence the rules down the line.
How so?
Well, they could affect the pace of innovation, how much financial privacy you have, even what kinds of crypto assets you can access in the future. If the politicians they back gain power, policies could shift, either towards a more open crypto world or maybe a more tightly controlled one and impact your choices.
Okay. So, market volatility, regulatory battles, political maneuvering. Let's look at a specific company navigating all this. Kind of gives us a snapshot, right? Gemini.
Right, Gemini.
Yeah.
One of the more established exchanges.
So despite this turbulent environment and frankly some significant financial setbacks, they're making a pretty bold move. They're planning to go public.
Yeah.
An IPO.
An initial public offering. Yeah, that's a big step.
It's a statement, isn't it? Pushing for legitimacy, access to public markets.
Yeah.
But this is also set against some pretty stark numbers. They reported a huge net loss, $282.5 million, just in the first half of 2025.
Oof, that's substantial.
Yeah, compare that to the $41.4 million loss the previous year. It's way up. Now, many people might see those losses and think, why IPO now? What's the strategy here for Gemini? And maybe what does it say about the industry?
That's a crucial point, and it really gets to the heart of crypto's current sort of institutionalization phase.
Yeah.
Gemini's IPO, even with those big losses, it isn't just about legitimacy, though that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's arguably a high-stakes gamble on the future institutional adoption of crypto. It forces a kind of reckoning with traditional finance, even with these headwinds.
So looking past the current losses.
Potentially. I mean, in a traditional market, those losses would raise huge red flags for an IPO. But in crypto, it could be seen as strategic. Secure long-term funding, gain public trust, solidify their position while the industry is still, relatively young.
And the losses themselves.
They likely reflect not just operating costs, but maybe the huge investments needed for compliance, security, developing the market in this really unpredictable regulatory climate. It costs money to build that infrastructure.
So it's a bet on the future requiring big spending now.
That's one way to look at it. In this example, Gemini situation, it's more than just one company. It's a real-world case study for anyone watching the industry. It shows the resilience, the ambition, but also the huge challenges and opportunities as crypto tries to mature and integrate with traditional finance.
That tension between innovation and becoming part of the establishment.
Exactly. And they're trying to bridge that gap very publicly with this IPO plan.
Right, and there you have it. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground.
We certainly have.
Journeyed through the market's ups and downs, the global regulatory tug-of-war, those calculated political plays getting more sophisticated, and then this snapshot of industry realignment with Gemini. It's a lot, but it's absolutely essential to stay informed about.
Couldn't agree more. And maybe a final thought for you to consider.
Go for it.
As you reflect on all this, how actively crypto players are now engaging with traditional politics, with regulatory bodies, what does this mean for that original vision? The whole decentralization idea.
Good question.
Is this just a necessary evolution? A practical step needed for mainstream adoption to get crypto into everyday life? Or does it fundamentally change what crypto set out to be? Does it just become another part of the system it originally aimed to bypass?
That is a powerful question to chew on. Is it evolution or assimilation? We encourage you to keep exploring, keep reflecting on these developments. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, keep digging.